Alright, so Prateek, of course, a lot of people know about your music, your songs. We all know that you're a great live performer and all that. But at Mirchi Indies, we always try to, get into the artist's life and their journey and their hustle and where you come from. So, tell me about your musical journey, yaar. कहाँ से शुरुआत हुई? Where did it all began for you?
So I'm a Pune boy. I'm born and raised in Pune. So it all started in my home city. Very early on in my school days. So unlike a lot of people, I decided I want to, pursue music quite early on, literally in my 8th grade. So when I was younger, two things that I really loved doing was singing. Probably like even in a classroom, play on things I see around, a pencil box get thrown out, and another thing was sports. Until date, that's how my lifestyle has been, music and sports. So back then I had a few teachers, who unearthed the potential that this guy has a good voice. So it started by being a part of a choir, then being pushed in front of the choir, and then also getting out and exploring in my early teens, thanks to an older sister who used to get passes to these gigs in these college fests, see the Indian rock bands, and of course I was listening to Metallica, Linkin Park, Eminem, a diverse listening palette.
Tell me some names that you used to love listening to.
Yeah, I used to love listening to Pentagram, I used to like Vayu, I used to like Agni. So many. PDV was a great band.
Pin Drop Violence.
Yeah. Pin Drop Violence. Zero was a great band. I love PSP even now.
Right.
Blackstrat Blues.
Yes, of course.
So many. Mother Jane.
I
had the honor to open for Mother Jane, to Parikrama. I've opened for Parikrama and I have very good relations with the band as well. And also, I am thankful that I had, very supportive parents and a family, which my mom's an Indian classical dancer. So, and she also does drama and stuff like that. The love for music was there. My father, I remember from back in the day. And there was again a diverse listening palette. Kishore Kumar, Jagjit Singh, Apache Indian.
अरे वाह.
तो बच्चे को भी यही सुनने मिल रहा है from a young age.
Nice.
So my sister used to pick up stuff like Bryan Adams and Def Leppard and bring that home, and I used to like sort of put them in a Discman and listen to it. So when I already was consuming this, automatically my diverse listening palette sort of transcended into who I am also, as I was growing as a young artist. And forming the rock band with a bunch of buddies, many of them who are now even full-time just like myself doing this, going from competition to competition, headlining college fests. It all started there and I kept at it. Your I Am Bangalore's and all these college festivals that happened. Got opportunities to open for international bands with my progressive rock band from back in the day. And then from there, when everyone decided कि मुझे ये करना है, मुझे engineering करना है, मेरा था कि मुझे music ही करना है. तो घर पे बोले कि are you sure? Are you? Because a very enthusiastic and energetic kid, वो in the moment हो रहा है, he's getting a lot of attention, maybe that's why he wants to do it. But it was that I wanted to pursue music more seriously, and I wanted to take that step to sort of get a reality check of how you stand by yourself. Because when you have a band backing you, or you're a group of brothers who have been there in this phase together, it all seems very easy. The day I stepped out,
in the professional world.
In the professional world as Prateek Bhaduri early on itself, I think the only good thing is when you figure this out early, as a young boy, you carry on with your education, but you figure your focus is on that.
Right.
It makes life easier because you want to take that uncomfortable step.
Right.
And I took that uncomfortable step. So, and I found myself quite comfortable so for me, slipping and falling and dusting my wounds was something that I used to grace, because it used to give me, and someone telling me that he can't do it also used to give me a lot of energy, positive energy. Uska negative energy मुझे positive लगता था कि यार this guy is shit, he can't do something, or इससे नहीं हो पाएगा. So that energy to sort of prove the person wrong was something that drove me. So I kept at it, and
So there was no plan B, is what you're saying.
Plan B has always been like to do something so I have an entertainment company. Okay, I have a studio space, I have an academy. So plan B was always to reinvest back into music. I also have done a lot of sports events, and I'm heavily passionate about Indian football, and I do things related to that as well, which is another faction of what I do. But these things were going to happen no matter what, but music was always the front line. Baaki distractions nahi the kabhi. So that's what it led to, and then I went solo and I started releasing music by myself. And one thing led to another, and I won Best Pop Artist at the Radio City Freedom Awards. And by then I'd also done a lot of gigs across as Prateek Bhaduri or with other bands who I used to sing for as well.
Nice, yaar. तो मुझे बात बताओ कि see, like you just very interestingly mentioned that being in that college indie scene and college live music scene and festivals and all of that, वो एक अलग चीज़ हो जाती है. लेकिन जब आप एक professional world में आते हो, things become very different. It's a very different ball game out there. You need to have that professionalism. You need to have that sort of discipline in terms of how you want to promote your music and how you want to market your music as well. So वो सारे कहाँ से सीखा? Is it like on the job training or what?
So see, I did a postgrad in event management of sorts. So I got an early taster of what the event industry was when I used to go and work at different events, including music festivals and stuff. It was also very clear for me, because I was doing these college concerts and stuff, that when I used to meet colleagues who were playing at the festival and I was working, I wanted to be on stage and not behind the scenes. But the knowledge I was gaining in the process, back end mein, on ground, the business side of the music business really helped me know how to not get cheated or used by the people in the industry, which happens to people. So for a lot of artists, they get very demoralized and go into a shell. For me, I was always a little more strong-minded to understand this. I could absorb and take a lot of pressure, however you want to put it. I could take it. So I think that ability to sort of soak in stuff also I learned. I learned and I utilized those skill sets for my own career. And I'm still doing that,
Amazing.
To bring the best foot forward or to, sort of understand. So before, I always analyze my own thing like a critic as well.
Right.
So there will still be things I don't like in my own songs.
Right.
It's not like I'm going to tell it out loud to people. Maybe in a closed room, when I get close to someone, I might just discuss it. I always want to better. So I'm happy that when I listen to a song of mine, I want to make a better song after that, and a better song after that, and a better song after that. ये focus हमेशा रहता है.
So talking about your music and when you decide that you want to go solo, तो when you decide कि मेरे को गाने बनाने अब मेरे लिए, so what was your thought? What was the kind of sound that you were trying to achieve?
So पहले the first EP, Different Shades of Me, was me. So there was a lot of thing कि English में ही गाना है या हिंदी rock है. So for me it was never like that. So I was out of a proper progressive rock band जहाँ पे एक thinking था. So somewhere, though I used to love that environment,
वो baggage थोड़ा तो आ ही जाता है मगर.
हाँ, I used to also want to do things that. So I used to listen to Lucky Ali, Kishore Kumar, and I told you, Pentagram also the same time I'm listening to songs. तो ये influences मैं एक जगह पे कैसे लूँ, So when I worked on the first EP, it all started with me sitting with a guitar, sitting with my dear friend who still plays guitars for me, Boyaf, and I, both of us sitting in my bedroom and working on stuff. एक गाने का idea पूरा हिंदी था, which is Andekhi, which again, got nominated for Best Pop Artist. And Drift Deeper, which won me from the same EP, but I released them later. So ये सब गाने जब मैं लिख रहा था, it was all about things that affect me as a person. So social issues was one clear direction that I wanted to take. That the song must hit a person in a space that they can relate to it. One. Two was language barrier नहीं चाहिए मुझे. So I was very clear that Hindi, English, Bangla, I'm going to write music in these three languages.
Right.
Now my mother tongue is Bangla.
Right.
I am a Pune boy, I speak fluent Marathi, but I didn't venture into writing in Marathi back then. I can probably indulge in that now. Recent past with my Indo-Pak US based band, I wrote in Urdu also. Yeah, it all started then. I think that experience of, making music, and by then I had also connected with a lot of people who were good with what they do, which came down to production, who could help me. So the first EP itself, there was a lot of time and thought I put to it. अभी जैसे एक गाना जल्दी हो जाता, तभी मैंने बहुत time लेके वो, I nurtured that entire project and I released those 5 songs, which did really well for me.
You work with the Pakistani artists, you work with the US artists. तो इन collaborations के बारे में बताओ, and how much do you like collaborating and meeting new people?
Basically, when यही multilingual music when I was releasing, there was a psychedelic rock song, there was a pop song which was Drift Deeper, and Children of Love was an alternative rock song which was on children affected like from wherever in the world, by the brunt of war and the importance of education. These सब subjects पे when I was writing, and there were like these articles in different spaces. A lot of people used to connect with me, different musicians from different places. I remember Mark Tremonti from Creed and Alter Bridge, like Children of Love. So he wrote like,
are you kidding?
Yeah, so I just DM'd him.
Wow.
And he replied back saying that it's a great song, and I had shared a screenshot on my Instagram and again these little things also just like sort of reassure that no matter how nascent the rock sound is, it still has.
It's such great validation, yaar.
So ये करते I think Khurram, Waqar and me basically in the lockdown 2020.
You'll have to tell the audience who are these artists.
Yes. So basically what we're talking about is, of course, my previous material and how that led to a lot of collaborations. So one collaboration was a band that I currently have, which is the world's first Indo-Pak US-based rock band. We are called Brothers in Arms. And it has Greg Ellis, who's the man behind Godzilla, Matrix, Avengers, the music of this. And he's a very well-known percussionist and drummer. He's collaborated with Pandit Bikram Ghosh, Sonu Nigam, Billy Idol, a lot of stalwarts. And Khurram Wakar from Coke Studio Pakistan. Popularly, he has a lot of bands, including Kayas, which is a very well-known prog band that even came down to India for the JD Rock Awards. And recently in the lockdown, when I released Inner Love on VH1, the music video, which was touching the importance of mental health awareness, because I write songs on social issues as well. And it was a psychedelic acoustic rock song. So he really liked it and we spoke about the song, and VH1 India plays in Pakistan as well. So we were just connecting and both of us were free. And we were like, yeah, let's work on a song. And while we were doing that, I had connected with Greg when he came to his India tour, and I also helped him with his India tour. And we ended up jamming together on the last gig, where I came on stage and did something with him. So that's when Greg told me we must do something together.
Right.
So while Khuda Ke Bande was in a process of being a one-song project between me and Khurram, we started to have this bond by connecting by midnight hours, and we became like brothers from across the border. And we started to think that, hey, listen, why don't we add a drummer into this? Because this is a kick-ass rock song. That's when I said, you know what, Greg and me have spoken about this. Let me just connect with him and see where he's at. Nice. So I sent him a demo, and Greg loved the song. And then we had a third person in our Zoom calls, discussing and giving his thoughts. And yeah, one thing led to another, and we wrote this beautiful Say No to War anthem, Khuda Ke Bande, which also has a lot of footage of the Ukraine war. Right. We saw and basically our message is that three strong military powers, India, Pakistan, USA, right? Three musicians who believe in peace, who believe in love and brotherhood, saying that, war just has a very negative impact.
Right.
It uses man's best to do man's worst. That's what we said.
Right.
So we sort of, that journey of the song itself made us form this band, because we realized there's no band having members of the three countries in one. There has been Indo-Pak short projects, but this is a band that is going to be there.
Tell me, what is the upcoming things that is there in the pipeline?
Yeah, so I ventured into the electropop space with this new material. So I released Nach. This is an all-out dance music song. And I've released Buri Baatein, which is in the synth wave, electro, funk, pop space. And I have Khone Laga coming out. So I'm also been, very well supported as a Wink artist through Wink Studio. So, they have, signed a few artists who are exclusively pushed and promoted through their platform, and I've been one of them as well, and that's been a great experience. So the new music has also had a journey of its own with, it being a part of playlists with really good artists like Arman Malik, and the dance music has also been featured with Badshah and stuff like that. So it sort of gets a listening audience to start to listen to an independent artist who is fully independent and making music in this space. And the stream counts have been good, and people have been, I'm talking in today's terms. For me, stream counts really don't matter, but I'm still talking today's terms because it does still matter, because then you know that they're consuming your music.
Yeah.
And you're also getting their feedback, so what to do. So I am a feedback kind of guy, but I'm also a guy who wants to do what he wants to do.
Right.
So I'm always taking that in to, make better music. So there's another song coming out called Khone Laga,
right,
which is 10 days from now.
Nice.
So yeah.
सही है यार, जाते जाते एक, I think because you have been in the scene for so long, you have seen what I call the golden era of the Indian music scene as well. But even now it's amazing. But one advice that you want to give to all the indie artists out there who are watching you right now?
So I think the one advice that I'd want to give an indie artist, I think it's a few points actually. A, be very thick-skinned, because you're doing something which is independent. So you also need to be very mentally strong, because not everyone is going to appreciate what you do. But if you believe in what you do, stick to doing what you do, because no one knows better about your music and your journey than yourself. Third, be open to feedback. So feedback's never a bad thing. But every feedback might not be golden. But just take it in, man. It's like, just listen. Like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you are mentally, sorted and strong. So take that in. For me, when I compare generations and I see how certain sounds come back. So your 80s sound of dance music is coming back with your Weeknd and Dua Lipa. This is being repackaged and brought in back into a commercial space. certain sounds that were really strong, like your grunge and your hard rock sounds, which are now no more there in the palette. Does that mean that will not sell again? No. So when I say the word sell, I mean like larger listening audiences, because when we take Gen Z kids of today, a lot of them are listening to trap, a lot of them are listening to certain kind of rap sounds, you know. But इससे आप क्या लोगे कि maybe they become very drop oriented.
हाँ.
ये पकड़.
That's a trend.
हाँ, ये ड्रॉप का ट्रेंड पकड़ लिया, क्योंकि बॉलीवुड में भी दिख रहा है आपको हर जगह. सो एज एन इंडी आर्टिस्ट मैंने वो पिकअप किया कि यार ये लोग ड्रॉप ओरिएंटेड हो गए. Hook and drop oriented. So much so that even when I'm talking to indie based people who are, I'm not going to take again names or anything.
No, you can.
No, it's okay. So they are also saying, यार ये drop बहुत important है. You know, music companies. They're telling you be original, right?
Yeah.
But it has to come naturally to you. So for me, when I make a song, when the melody is good, this thing, adding a drop or a thing which I sort of relate to, because I like dance music as well, I didn't mind, because my listening palette वैसा था. अगर आप एक बंदा जो खाली मेटल बजा रहा था, उसको आप अचानक बोल दो कि
ड्रॉप लिक,
हाँ ड्रॉप लिक, या someone else who was a folk artist पूरा, उसको आप बोल रहे क्या है कि so for him it's selling his soul. For someone who's quite been very versatile with his music, because I have always added so many different elements in my songs and in my original music and my live sets especially, जहाँ पे I'm breaking into a rap or I'm doing something in different genres, reggae, blues.
Nice.
You know, taking a Bollywood song and making it something interesting as a cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my own music also. Live presentation of a song, you know, would be very different from what the record is. For an artist, you know, just understand what's going on out there for your music to be sort of consumed better. Because once you have got your audience, then we can give them whatever we want to.
In your own version.
In your own version, with your, you can like sort of have and build, most importantly, build on your, try and understand who your people are and try to build on that the numbers of fans that you can connect, or, you know, followers or whatever, build on that. Because one is getting follows on these social media pages, but one is having genuine listeners. ये बहुत एक फर्क हो गया है आज के टाइम में. Because ये है कि numbers are there, but when that same person is playing somewhere,
50 लोग भी नहीं आते.
नहीं आते, क्योंकि somewhere ना क्या हो गया है, it's very, everything has become very designed by social media right now.
अब इसका vice versa है जो मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ कि बहुत लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि यार मेरे गाने सिर्फ 50 लोगों ने सुने या सिर्फ उस पे 50 व्यूज आए. 50 people in a room like this is a lot of people, by the way. So don't underestimate numbers.
See what you're looking for as an artist who makes original music. So why do you think that even today Lucky Ali's concerts are attended by large number of people, even if he was, you know, away from the scene for so long? It's because he touched souls. And that touching soul element is something that we need to take from. So even listen to people who have been there. You might not have heard about them, but go out there. It's called research, like we all do it in different subjects. Go into music history and try to learn from these different artists or whatever we can to bring in our best, because that ability to touch the soul is something that a lot of times, nowadays songs come out. 100 million view, ये वो गाना आया एक हफ्ते में and भूल गए लोग.
But see, I'll tell you what, guys, you know, this is a conversation which can go on, and this is what happens when you find two very, very passionate indie music lovers and artists. And हम लोग तो ये बात, I think, पुणे जाते जाते तक भी हमारी बातें खत्म नहीं होने वाली, but unfortunately we just have that much of time. But thank you so much for having this conversation, bro, and really looking forward for all the music that you've been doing and your collaborations and more live gigs and concerts. मुझे भी बुलाना यार किसी अपने concert में. I would love to be there, and wish you all the best, man, for your future projects. See you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.